The U.S. walking a fine line between the Middle East and China. As Israel launches a new wave of strikes on Iran, U.S. allies in Asia are expressing increasing concerns. One nagging question, will the war in Iran divert the U.S. resources needed to deter China? A lawmaker in Taiwan is urging Washington to shift its focus back to the Indo-Pacific.
We hope that the operation in Iran will be fast and limited, and that U.S. military resources can be promptly shifted back to Asia.
The lawmaker expresses concern that the Chinese regime could intensify its harassment of Taiwan while U.S. attention is focused on the Middle East. Similar worries are emerging among Japanese lawmakers. They met on Monday to discuss the U.S.-Israeli strikes on Iran. A politician who attended the meeting told Reuters that concerns were raised over how East Asia would respond to a gap in its defenses if Washington diverted military assets stationed there to the Middle East. The politician said Tokyo has sought assurances from Washington that it will not do so. Right now, about 40% of U.S. warships ready for operations are stationed around the Middle East. Carrier deployed in Asia is undergoing maintenance in Japan. Brian Clark, a former U.S. defense official, says that the U.S. Navy is stretched thin and that if the war in the Middle East drags on, the U.S. could draw down naval resources in Asia to reinforce operations against Iran. Meanwhile, the war in Iran is also depleting U.S. munitions. Analysts are currently divided over how the U.S. strikes on Iran are affecting China. Some say this action could allow the U.S. to focus on containing China after weakening two of Beijing's allies, Iran and Venezuela. Others say the longer the strikes on Iran last, the more Beijing could benefit. A Japanese lawmaker told Reuters that the grand strategy is to contain Iran in the Middle East, then shift resources toward dealing with China. But the question remains whether there will be enough resources left to shift.